Good morning, guys. How you doing? Okay, we got some, I guess breaking news. Um, with Emmanuel Haro. Sorry, I'm kind of been doing a lot, outside of YouTube. Let me see. You guys are here. We're good to go. I don't know if I have notifications. Hopefully, I do. um, this spotted thing may be the next step. This reported supposed sightings. They say that the San Bernardino sheriff's office is aware of it. And how many times have we covered stories? Of course, they have to take every. I do have notifications. Of course, they have to take every sighting seriously. They're not just going to be like, we're not gonna, And so, and I think Alan sent me this article. Kern County, California, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department says it's aware of a reported possible sighting of a 7-month-old boy who's been missing for nearly a week. Emmanuel reported missing last Thursday. He said the sheriff's department said the potential sighting was reported in Kern County, but no further information was available. So I really, really wonder.
National headlines.
Let me fix my audio. I really wonder the details about this. Because I remember Brian Laundrie, all the sightings with Brian Laundrie. Even the false people that got raided. There was some guy in a hotel that got raided. They thought it was Brian Laundrie. He wasn't.
New developments in another disturbing local case now making national headlines. Where is baby Emmanuel? On Thursday, it'll be a week since the child's mother claimed she was attacked in a parking lot while changing his diaper and her child was stolen. However, over the weekend, investigators began to say there were inconsistencies in her story. And tonight, we're learning the vehicle belonging to the child's father, Jake Haro, was seized by San Bernardino County investigators in connection with this case. His attorney issuing a statement tonight saying Jake Haro is fully cooperating with law enforcement and investigators. All of this happening tonight is a big fire broke out at a home on the same block as the one where the Haros live. At this point, investigators say there's nothing to connect it to the missing child, and the location just appears to be a coincidence. Okay. But CAL FIRE arson investigations are working that scene.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I wanted to pull up this other page too. On X. Here we go. Fire photo girl. She supposed to say anything. Oh, this was the visual. Okay. This was last night too.
So the house across the street from Jake and Rebecca's house was lit on fire. The police that is already.
By the way, hold on. I'm bouncing all over the place. My ADD ass. So went missing at this in Yucaipa, this store, and the reported sightings in Kern County. So I don't know. I guess that's like 3 hours away, almost 200 miles away, if I have that right. Yucaipa Boulevard. So that's quite a bit away for the baby to be. And it just makes the Bakersfield. Anytime I hear or think about Bakersfield, I think about the West Boys. It's kind of weird, eerie. Kern County. So I don't know, man. Legit sighting or not. And then this was last night. Where did I put that right here?
Here they said that it was an abandoned house that was caught on fire. Right now they do have the electrical company out. It looks like some neighbors are coming out. Just some people here. But it is an abandoned home from what we are being told by local law enforcement. Jake and Rebecca's house is right over
Sparkling
here.
Heart emoji.
You can see their light.
Sparkling heart emoji. Sparkling heart emoji. Sparkling heart emoji. Sparkling heart emoji. Purple 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 heart.
Where's this live action channel too? Oh, I think I did that last night. Let me pull up this other channel. Emmanuel Haro.
for Emmanuel Haro on Sunday night. She says the parents were not at that vigil. Heather, thanks so much for joining us and coming on the show. What's been the community reaction to this mother's story and the police investigation?
The initial reaction was shock, because that doesn't happen out here in Yucaipa. It's very safe, and if we see something, like, people will step in. But now once we saw that firsthand, her interview, everyone was very suspicious from the get-go, and it wasn't adding up. I personally saw the mother, Rebecca, at the day of they were hosting a search party, and I went to do the search party with them, and I just thought it was very strange that she was walking to her car just fine, or a car in the parking lot just fine, and then the news vehicles started coming in, and then she limped away. So at that point, I kind of had a very bad feeling that we weren't searching for a child in the area.
Did you have these suspicions before police went public with their suspicions?
Yes, I had it from the get-go. Right when I saw her interview was a big red flag. Like I said, it just doesn't happen where someone walks up behind you out here, knocks you out, and takes a baby, and no witnesses, and it's a very busy street.
Yeah. Apparently, I know you've spoken to some people who were working at these stores at the time. Did anybody see Rebecca Haro, or more importantly, see the baby?
From what they told me, nobody saw the baby.
They saw her, but not the baby, because that's what we've heard about people who were at the football game that she had been at previously. She said she had left the football game to go buy her other son a mouth guard that he needed to play. That's why she was at the store, she said. But nobody at that football game saw the baby either.
No.
So tell me about the vigil and why it was so important for you to go.
It was important for me to go to be his voice, because he couldn't, and his parents obviously weren't, since they didn't even attend that, which I thought was very strange. But a lot of our community showed up for the same reason, and that was, to pay our respects and support him, Emmanuel, and be his voice.
Yeah, a 7-month-old baby. It's really, really heart-wrenching. Yeah. Heather Walker, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay. So I don't know, possible sighting of the baby. Here's some SF investigate. Let me see what he was doing here. Oh, okay. This was kind of cool. I don't know if I showed this already or not. This is an overhead view of the Emmanuel Haro home and his parents, Jake and Rebecca. No vehicles are visible. I might have shown this already. In the driveway, if something happened to Emmanuel at this location, the key question is where they might have taken him. The house is surrounded by an open desert. The starting point is estimating how far someone would go to create enough distance from the home to feel secure, then work outward from there. Looks like a drone footage. The story's really taken off. Just a lot of people hearing about it and talking about it and having their own theories. I wonder if the person will come forward, the one that saw the reported sighting, and give details about exactly what they saw, and what makes them think that's the baby. What features did they notice? Any distinct features? What else? Possible ring camera on the back door, surveillance warning sign, possible mounted camera. The property. I went to Big Five where the fake kidnapping was staged. Damn. In the Emmanuel Haro case, I was told by an employee that the parents did come in asking about surveillance under the premise that their car was broken into. Damn. So I had heard about this as like rumors online, but I haven't seen like actual confirmation. SF lives out there in California. He said he went to the store. And that supposedly they're saying, however, I was told that it was earlier in the month. Okay, earlier in the month. I was told that the surveillance cameras on the jewelry shop did have a view of the vehicle. There are actually 2 cameras on the corner of the roof. I took a picture and pointed them out. I also did the drive from the football practice to the Big 5, and they will be able to track her the entire way. I did the drive from the football practice to Big 5, and they'll be able to track her the entire way. I'll post that video in a bit. Damn. This must have been from the fire. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Julie, how you doing? Why not credit SF Investigates for this? I just said his name multiple times. So, let me see what else is popping up with this. I thought it was interesting, man. I don't know. Of course, as cops, they got to investigate the possible sighting. Damn. People knock on the front door home of Rebecca and Jake yesterday, offering to help find missing 7-month-old. Jake answers the door and Jake tells them they're trespassing. Well, I guess they are. Let's see. Let's check it out.
We're here right in front of the
Oh, they showed up. Pulled up to the house.
Hey, are you Jake? You guys are trespassing. I'm sorry. That's fine. I just wanted to see if we could help you in any way, talk to you about what happened. You guys are trespassing. Okay, that's not a problem. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. Hey, bro, appreciate it. Cool shirt, bro. I'm into Pokemon myself, bro. I collect as well.
I guess they're trying to maybe find a connection. He has a Pokemon shirt.
You're trespassing. All right, guys. He will refuse to talk. But there you go. You heard Jake. He clams up and refuses to talk. But at least he opened the door.
I'm surprised he even opened the door.
Hey, are you Jake? You guys are trespassing. I'm sorry. That's fine. I just wanted to see if we could help you in any way, talk to you about what happened. You guys are trespassing. Okay, that's not a problem. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. Hey, bro, appreciate it. Cool shirt, bro. I'm into Pokemon myself, bro. I collect as well. You're trespassing. All right, guys. He will.
And so I hope that we get some type of update from the police, but who knows when that's going to happen? Because I saw that Jennifer Coffendaffer was saying, my question is, when was the last time the baby was seen? And I'm still waiting for that too, that information to come out. I'm very curious to know when was the last time anybody saw this baby alive, you know? This person claims here, we learned the other day that Emmanuel's dad, Jake, beat his daughter in 2018 when she was just a baby. Charges against him that he could plead guilty to. Also show that.
Hey guys, so yesterday I shared a little bit more information about Jake Haro and why he was ultimately charged with child cruelty back in 2018 alongside his ex, Vanessa. Well, now we are actually seeing photos of Jake's daughter, who is now 7 years old and in the care of his cousin, so we can visibly see what this man did to his baby. This right here is a photo of the baby when this first happened back in 2018, and remember, she was admitted to the Hemet Valley Hospital for acute fractured ribs. 6 ribs with healing fractures, a skull fracture, a brain hemorrhage, as well as swelling of the neck and a fractured leg bone. And this is Jake Haro's daughter today. She is wheelchair bound, she's nonverbal, she is reportedly blind, she has only 3% brain function, and she requires care 24/7, assistance with everything. Jake Haro got a slap on the wrist for essentially taking this child's life. He robbed her of every opportunity of any future that she could have had, and the judge only gave him 180 days in jail and probation. And he was allowed to continue having other kids that this allegedly happened to. Baby Emmanuel, we've been talking about how he looks like he has some sort of brain injury. He is not alert, so I do not doubt that Jake Haro is repeating his history here. Now, do you guys remember the other day when I shared that woman's comment about her working at Walmart with Jake and apparently he was really abusive? Well, apparently her daughter ended up contacting someone on here anonymously, basically saying that Jake had a child with a coworker at Walmart and he did the same thing to that coworker's child. Now, this was sent in anonymously, but I actually did end up finding this Walmart employee's daughter, and I sent her a message and just asked if she would be able to confirm that for me. She read my message yesterday and never responded back, so I don't know if that anonymous person was actually her or if it was her and she just didn't want her identity out there and maybe she was making this up. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt that Jake has done this to other people, other women, other children in the past, but I just like to get confirmation about something before I post it as being fact. So at the moment,
that's Matt the Budai on TikTok. I don't know. There's a lot going on. And a lot of people kind of involved wanting to know what's going on. People taken to the streets, community taken to the streets. You know, let's say the parents, I don't think they were at the vigil, nor were they helping search. You know, they had claimed, I believe, that they were worried, they were getting threats. And now this reported sighting in Kern County, which San Bernardino said they are aware of, but that's all they said, you know. And the news saying that the fire from yesterday, they're saying it was coincidence. Coincidence is what they're saying. Well, investigators, this is what they say. Yeah, investigators believe there is no connection. A house in Cabazon explodes in flames as firefighters race to the scene. The residence is just steps away from the home of the Haro family, whose baby Emmanuel went missing last week. Investigators believe there is no connection. The arson probe this morning from 6 from ABC7. That was crazy. That was intense yesterday. I can't even believe, like, the whole thing with yesterday in that fire, how these people just casually walked away. What was up with that? Like, I just saw a picture of them too, huh? Oh, Lord. I just saw a picture of them. And we saw the video yesterday, but let me just see if I can pull up this still image. I couldn't believe how these people just walked away as if nothing. I guess it's just normal out there in Cali. Burn an entire almost burned the whole neighborhood. Who knows how many acres could have burned if it would have continued, if they didn't get it on time. They just casually walk away. Damn. Wonder if they ever got arrested. Oh, Live Action News had an interview, by the way, with the battalion chief about the fire. I think this must have been yesterday. Let's take a look.
And spell your first last name.
Matt McDonald, MATT MCDONALD.
And title?
Battalion Chief with Riverside County Cal Fire Department.
You can look about right here.
Okay, perfect.
And just kind of give us a little bit of what we have.
We were called out today for a reported structure fire in the 50,000 block of Ramona Street here in Cabazon. Our first arriving engine reported one structure with a trailer well involved with a fire starting in the neighboring structure. Firefighters with an aggressive fire attack were able to keep the fire to the main structure itself and keep it out of the additional exposure.
Any update on whether 2 other people seen leaving has been found? Or
we have no updates on anybody that was in the primary structure or them leaving the area. Currently our arson investigator in coordination with Riverside County Sheriff's Department are investigating the fire at this time.
And none of your firefighters were injured. I know it was pretty hectic there for a little bit.
There was definitely a lot going on when we got here, although our guys were able to aggressively get in there and put the fire out, and there was no injuries reported for us.
The second structure, about how much damage? The resident was telling us about its exterior on.
Yeah, the secondary structure fortunately only suffered exterior damage and potentially could be habited tonight by those residents.
Do you know about what time the fire came out?
I believe the fire was reported. I believe the fire was reported around 1600 this evening.
Okay, and how many firefighters and fire engines did you have on staff on this call?
We had 39 firefighters assigned with 9 fire engines, a breathing support, and a battalion chief, along with 2 arson investigators.
Vigilantes who can't read house numbers. I did not think about that. Yo, that would be wild. Imagine they were targeting the Haro house or something. They just got the wrong place. Wouldn't put it past them. There's talk about the previous abuse charges with Jake, the father of the missing baby. And they're saying here that, remember the 10-week-old baby that Jake Haro was charged with abusing in 2018? They're saying her name is Promise, lovingly given to her by the cousin who adopted her after the abuse. Okay. She was born completely healthy, but because of what Jake did to her at 10 weeks old, Promise is now legally blind, can only use 3% of her brain, and will require full-time care for the rest of her life. That's crazy. I don't know where I know I've seen the charges. I'm just, what happened to that baby? I don't know where they got the information, like confirmation as to what types of injuries and stuff. But that's what they're saying here. These cousins are not just relatives, they're heroes. They stepped up and again to protect these babies. And so they have the same picture that we just saw in the other video of that baby. And it's probably why they removed the child from the house, the 2-year-old. Because we watched the lawyer last night, in case you guys missed it, because we were on kind of late. There was we watched the father's lawyer speak, and Ashley Banfield had kind of pressed him a little bit and was like, what about that 2-year-old? Is it true there was a 2-year-old removed? And he just conceded to, yeah, there was a 2-year-old child that was taken out of the house. Because at this point, it's like, how many kids are going to be abused or go missing or killed or whatever the case is, right? Now it's like, okay, where it's a safety concern. It should have been a safety concern before. I don't know what's up with that, but okay. The charge was willful child cruelty. Okay. So I'm curious. I'm very curious about this reported sighting, but I don't know. For me, I know not to get my hopes up high either, because we've just seen this so many times with all these stories. It would be incredible if there really was the baby, but the Menendez, they have a parole hearing tomorrow. Oh, Lord. Let me see what else we got, if there's anything else. But I wanted to tap in with you guys a little bit this afternoon, just kind of a little update with the Haro story. We'll see what else pops up today. I got a teacher thing tonight, like a open house thing tonight I got to go to for school. So I figured let me tap in early in case I'm busy later, Oh, look, let's check this out. This was Ashley Banfield and 10 to Life talking about the case.
But then those few select things that I mentioned that kind of set everybody on a course to go after these parents and call them liars.
Well, I think anytime a parent's interview comes out, it's so easy for the public and the true crime community to automatically make parallels with the infamous Chris Watts interview. But there were some interesting things here. As you mentioned, not only were there mentions of Emmanuel in past tense, but no matter how their voice was breaking, there was not a single tear squeezed out, not by Rebecca and not by Jake. And it almost came across as performative, as though they were trying to force their voice to break and force themselves to seem sad. And what was really interesting, too, about Jake's interview is he seems very distraught and having a difficult time conveying the words. But then the moment he starts talking about Yucaipa and how they've had a past history with football there and the city, he immediately just even-keeled, total normal tone of voice as though nothing happened, where usually when we have seen parents who are truly distraught and grief-stricken and fearful, that tone carries through the entire interview. So it just felt a little off-putting and performative.
So talk to me a little bit about Jake's, past, his criminal record, and in particular, an ex-wife named Vanessa, who told police that she had been trying to nurse their 10-week-old baby, but that something was wrong with that baby, took that baby to the hospital, and what happened then?
So this incident happened back in October of 2018, and there's conflicting reports as to what exactly happened. Vanessa claims one version, and then Jake claims another. But the gist of it is that, to your point, the baby was not nursing. Then later that evening, she asked Jake to feel the baby's back, to which when he did, according to the affidavit, this is their word, not mine, he felt a crackle. So she brought the baby to the hospital, and I want to read this directly because the officer writing the affidavit said that the doctors at the Loma Linda University Medical Center said that the baby had, quote, acute fractured rib, healing fractures of 6 ribs, a skull fracture, a brain hemorrhage, swelling of the neck, and a healing fractured leg bone. And what's very interesting about this, too, is later when Jake returned home from the hospital, allegedly his sister had opened up his iPad and the recent browser tab, and there was a search for how to feed a baby with broken ribs, a search that took place before they even went to the hospital. Now, Jake says he wasn't the one to make that search, but that coupled with everything else in this incident, it's pretty alarming.
All right, I want to play something. Earlier today, a Yucaipa resident named Heather Walker, apparently she attended the vigil for Emmanuel on Sunday, and she said she spoke to some Big Five employees at that vigil. And my colleague Elizabeth Vargas spoke with Heather Walker and asked her if the employees said anything about Rebecca or the baby on the day of the kidnapping, and this is the answer.
From what they told me, nobody saw the baby.
They saw her, but not the baby, because that's what we've heard about people who were at the football game that she had been at previously. She said she had left the football game to go buy her other son a mouth guard that he needed to play. That's why she was at the store, she said. But nobody at that football game saw the baby either.
No.
That's troubling. And there's a lot of talk about Rebecca's black eye, Annie. What do you make of what's being said about, she pointed, I got hit towards the side of the black eye.
Almost immediately, once that interview footage came out, people were skeptical about the black eye, saying that it looked as though it was in the various stages of healing. It wasn't a fresh black eye. And there have been some eyewitnesses out there who have said that she allegedly was spotted with this black eye as early as August 3rd. There also have been some Big Five employees on social media speaking out in addition to the behavior from the alleged day of the kidnapping, saying that Rebecca had gone to the Big Five the night before, asked the cashiers if they had CCTV footage of the parking lot because the week prior her car had been broken into. Now that's all alleged at this point. That's according to some of the employees, but that seems very interesting too, that possibly she was trying to suss out the situation before they had their grand master plan the following day.
Very troubling, and I'll bet you that the police have been looking into it, and they're not telling us about it, but if they have been...
Yeah, I wonder what the cops are thinking. Crazy. I mean, that story with the previous child is shocking and telling. And so, yeah, obviously this is not a good thing for baby Emmanuel Haro. Doesn't, to me, he's the number one suspect at this point, unless, obviously there's probably things we don't know. But you have a history there. Crazy. Let's see what you guys are saying. That little girl's, probably lucky to be alive. Yeah, maybe she wasn't even meant to survive. Who knows? I don't know. Thank you for the year membership. I guess that's it. I just wanted to do a quick little spot check-in, just update you guys with this sighting and some of the details people are talking about with mom and dad. Bakersfield. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a happy day. I will catch you later if I'm available with whatever story or updates or whatever's happening. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Mom's plea after baby. Oh, she did an episode. Nancy Grace. How long is this episode? Oh, it's 50 minutes. We can listen for a few minutes. I don't know. Nancy? Nancy.
Joining us now is tonight, mommy's frantic pleas after baby Emmanuel, just 7 months old, is kidnapped during an attack outside a sporting goods store. Tonight,
we heard about this on Thursday night when the call came out saying that there was a reported kidnapping. It happened in Yucaipa, which is about an hour and a half east of Los Angeles in San Bernardino County. And that's when they first got the call from someone at the Big Five saying, my baby has been taken. I need help. So the sheriff's department rushes to the Big Five parking lot. That is where they find the mother, Rebecca Haro, and she is frantic and upset. And she says, you know what, my child was taken, but I don't know what happened. And in the very beginning, there were things like no Amber Alert was issued, right?
But highly unlikely.
And Brian, I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to find the baby.
I see you.
You're right. The desire to have a baby, right, is overwhelmingly a female desire. I'll give you a good example. The example by a man, okay? A physical attack of that nature is more typically, not stereotypically, but according to statistics, would be affected by a man. A woman would come up and surreptitiously grab the baby while mommy's not looking, or some sneaky or crafty way of getting the baby. Now, that from our friends, again, at ABC7. Delatorre, you're right. She's not crying at all. And again, I've told you this before, maybe I'm projecting, but when John David went missing in a vast Babies R Us superstore, I immediately started screaming at the top of my lungs and grabbed Lucy, his twin, like a football and started running toward the front, the exit that I knew of, to try to find him. He was playing a game. He was, a little over.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's it. I will catch you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. Peace. Bye. Bloop, bloop. Be safe. Hit the like button. Subscribe.